Welcome to my version of First Things First, Knicks Tears. I did my mountain yesterday and the comments were just so positive, so over the top encouraging that I was like, well, I'm definitely doing Knicks Tears now. I mean, it was just everybody go read the comments. They're just so positive. They're so uplifting. They tell me how great of a job I'm doing, and I'm like, all right, guys, I guess I'll most definitely continue to do Knicks Tears as well. Except in typical fashion, I do my tiers a little differently. A lot differently. It has nothing to do with any projections going into the future. It has nothing to do with how you looked in week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. It's specifically how you played this previous week. That's it. That's it. It is the quality of play. It is looking at you through fresh eyes every single week. You use the past as a slight reference point in terms of what do you, did you need a big win? Are you coming off of a bad loss or whatnot? So just because you beat a team by a lot doesn't mean that you're automatically at the top. Just because you lose doesn't mean that you're now dropping. Like, there's just many factors at play. It's actually a rich tapestry. Come to think of it, it's a rich tapestry, but through brand new fresh eyes. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. At the way bottom, we got the Bengals and the Vikings. I regret this decision. Mistakes were made and a cat rolled in a blanket. I don't even know what that is. Oh boy, the Bengals and the Vikings. The Bengals and the Vikings. The Bengals and the Vikings. Things were going so well. You were going to have Joe Burrow back. Even when you had Flacco here, you were kind of cooking. You were like, hey, we're in a position to win out dueling the Steelers. You're like, we can do this, we can do this. We cannot. We cannot. And then one of your leaders, the guy who's supposed to be the foundation, especially when Joe Burrow isn't there, Jamar Chase decides to spit in someone's face, get suspended. That directly leads to a loss. Could have kept things in the balance. Could have actually still made the playoffs. Your own actions. You made mistakes. The Minnesota Vikings. Oh, brother. Everything was so good not too long ago. There were wins aplenty. Sam Darnold balling. Everything felt so good. It felt so good. Justin Jefferson on top of the world. Now your quarterback is throwing for 87 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 34.2 passer rating and taking 5 sacks on 12 pressures. So a pressure to sack percentage of 41.7. And it's not looking good. It's not looking good. You can actually run the ball, but then you decide not to run the ball. And then someone in the comment section before said, yeah, but they've been down. That's why they can't run the ball. It's like, you're not down by 45, and it's certainly better than whatever you're doing right now. You scored 6 points. Lots of teams are down and they can still run the ball and you're not down by 30. So just bad football all around. Bad decision making. JJ McCarthy is clearly not quite ready. You had Sam Darnold in the building. You had Daniel Jones in the building. You could have continued some momentum. Could have had JJ McCarthy still learn and grow. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. And now we got the next level. Thank goodness we're just not the Saints. The Bucks, the Panthers, and the Falcons. Yeah, I know the Falcons won with Kirk Cousins, baby. You're cruising. You're doing good. You're finally getting something going. You did it against the Saints. The Saints are awful. The Saints are terrible. Everything about the Saints is just bad. Okay. There's just not much to do there. The Panthers, you had a chance. Brock Purdy was like, you want an interception? Here you go, buddy. Oh, do you want an interception too? Oh, let me find another ball. Here you go. You get an interception? I think I got one more in me. Yeah. Hold on. Just 1 second, bud. I got you. Here's another interception. You got one too. Oh, in the first half, you could have been up by 14. You could have been up by 21. No, you were down. And when you had a chance to score a touchdown, Bryce Young's like, oh, don't worry. I don't want the 49ers to feel left out. So here you get an interception too. You could have ran it in for a touchdown. You could have actually taken the lead in the division. You could have been leading the division. You could have been the one. It could have been you. It could have been you. It's not the Bucks. Oh, things were looking good. Things were looking good. I had some takes where I'm like, I don't really fully buy into the Bucks. I'm not really fully buying into Baker. Now they're not playing so good. And now the injuries are catching up. And now Baker Mayfield is banged up. And now I'm like, if he plays poorly, like I'm not even going to hold his feet to the fire because he's not fully healthy. This team's not fully healthy. And now you got blown out rock 34-7. Again, at least you're not the Saints. And now the Bucks can still win the division. And if they can stay afloat, they can still be feisty. Baker's shoulder injury. Don't know how much that will linger throughout the course of the season. How easily it's re-aggravated. Like, who knows, the Panthers can still win this division, but I mean, these 3 teams, at least you're not the Saints. At least you're not the Saints. And as we keep climbing this ladder, we got the red panda lady who's like on a unicycle or whatever, balancing the plates. You ever watch her? She's crazy. Used to watch her at a lot of Warriors games. We got a party in this section. We got an absolute party in this section. The Jacksonville Jaguars got to be one of the funniest teams out there. Okay. They cannot stop dropping passes. And Trevor Lawrence has been under tremendous pressure. He's finally pressured at just like an average normal rate, right? Nothing crazy, just normal quarterback pressure rate. Still takes 3 sacks, has 3 interceptions, and his receivers had 3 drops. You needed overtime against Jacoby Brissett. Honestly, Jacoby Brissett was the better quarterback in that game. And yeah, Jacksonville Jaguars, you're like a literal cartoon team right now. You're a literal cartoon team. The San Francisco 49ers went up against the Carolina Panthers. Defense was great. Bryce Young is just okay quarterback. Brock Brady did not play great at all. But you know, they've been dealing with so many injuries, so many moving parts. It's like you give them the benefit of the doubt, but they're balancing a lot right now. Now people are already trying to like, do we want MJ Jones back in this lineup? Like, what's going on? And the Baltimore Ravens, like, you're balancing Lamar Jackson's health right now. Like, there's like a fragility to Lamar right now that's like uncomfortable, because you're like, this is not the Lamar that I know. Like, this doesn't feel right. You know, 56.5% completion percentage, 153 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions at least this time around. I mean, he was only pressured 8 times, so it's not like he was under a lot of duress here. He had a 76.9 passer rating. Like, just doesn't quite feel right. But, you know, time will tell. Hopefully he can get better. Hopefully he can get healthier. Hopefully they can get back to who we know them to be. The Buffalo Bills. It's like, unless Josh Allen is perfect, unless Josh Allen is flawless, unless Josh Allen can be Superman, you got no chance. But this man was pressured nonstop and took 8 sacks. Had nowhere to go. His line getting blown up. And then the Buffalo Bills were like, we'll lose to the Texans. It's okay. No big deal. We'll lose a game that we should win. We'll let Davis Mills march down the field. We can't even stop Davis Mills. No big deal. No big deal. The Indianapolis Colts, you should have won the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. You absolutely positive you had the win in the back. You just needed Daniel Jones to do something. Anything in the 4th quarter. Anything. Couldn't do it. You could not do it. You just need Jonathan Taylor to like rip off a run. Just kind of maybe just be like, hey, it's all right. It's all right, guys. I got you. Couldn't do it. You could not do it. It took all of Shane Steichen's tricks and playbook to be able to just even get this lead. You were even given a gift. Patrick Mahomes, terrible interception. Great play, but terrible interception. You had it. You had the win. You proved you couldn't get it done. The Detroit Lions needed Gibbs to have nearly 300 yards and a 59-yard field goal in overtime against Jameis Winston, and the New York Giants, who had one of the most ridiculous trick plays that it was so poorly executed, so bizarrely executed, and yet it still led in Jameis Winston catching a touchdown pass where he had to catch it and then still like run into the end zone. It's not like he just like caught it in the end zone and then there you go. Like just kind of crazy. Gibbs was an absolute monster, but boy, oh boy, oh boy. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mason Rudolph led Steelers, were in a position to also win that game. This defense is supposed to be legit. That defense, I mean, outside of TJ Watt making a couple nice moves, was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You didn't really slow down them all too much. The Bears defense is what, you know, they were coming up with interceptions and strip sacks and, you know, just felt more potent, more aggressive, more violent than what the Pittsburgh Steelers had going. And I still don't understand the play calling in some of these moments. You know, kick the field goal, but they said, no, let's not kick the field goal. Then you do run a great trick play that does work out, and, you know, essentially leads to a touchdown. But then you have Mason Rudolph opening drive, throwing an interception going deep, 50-50. But I just don't know what you're doing, man. I just don't know what you're doing. I do not know what you're doing. So you are a lady on a unicycle balancing a whole bunch of plates, kicking them up with her feet, landing them on her head. That's what you guys all are. But you all are the little engine that could... I think I can. I think I could. I think I could. Chug, 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 chug always makes me think of Major Payne. If you haven't watched this, go watch Major Payne, the little engine that could. It's great. It's great. Damon Wayne's at his finest. This is the Eagles. The Eagles, man. If you could just get that offense right, if you could just get some continuity, consistency, sustainability, whatever word you want to use, find it. Find it. You're back to being a true bona fide Super Bowl contender and should be leading the NFL with the best chance to win the Super Bowl, because you're like the little engine that could... It's like, can you, the New England Patriots, Drake May, make no mistake about it. Listen, this team has been playing great defense, a lot of great pieces. It is still all on the shoulders of Drake May. It's like, bro, how elite are you going to be and how early are you going to be able to do it going up against the Bengals? yeah, he threw that pick six. But he made some beautiful plays. I got a video coming out later today highlighting one of the most gorgeous throws that you can make. And yeah, this is just, it's like, can Drake May do it? Can he lead the Patriots back to the promised land? The Green Bay Packers. Listen, it's a pretty straightforward game when you're going up against a quarterback who can't even break 90 yards. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I do think that this was a good game by the Packers, but, you know, considering the circumstances, it is what it is. But I just thought it was a smart, you know, they understood what they needed to do offensively, and they just executed it. It was just simple, straightforward. Weren't trying to do anything crazy about it. And then the Bears, you know, taking down the Steelers, taking down Mason Rudolph and the Steelers. You know, it's I continue to be really, really impressed with Ben Johnson, and there's just a flow of this game that I've highlighted now many times where, to me, it just really shows you the momentum building that this team has the potential to be able to do and the opportunities to do, where they get the strip sack on Mason Rudolph, where they were in field goal range. They could kick the field goal with a tie, or they were driving, and they were definitely in a position where they could have then and scored a touchdown to take the lead. But instead, strip sack, force fumble, recover, and then immediately the next play, Caleb Williams throws a strike to an absolute wide open Moore, and now you're immediately inside 35. Like, it's just an immediate momentum swing of, like, you were about to tie the game, you were about to maybe lead the game, and instead we force a turnover. Then we have Caleb throw a strike wide open. I mean, it was just execution on defense, execution on offense, play calling, the throw, all of it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The Kansas City Chiefs, I originally was having them higher, but I decided to drop them one notch lower, because I do think this was a really impressive win. Obviously, a really important win for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I do think they did a good job of disrupting the Colts, but this game did highlight the limitations of a Daniel Jones more than anything. From my viewpoint, the Colts should have won this game. But this was also the Chiefs just making the plays when they needed to, of course, and just hanging around long enough. And it's like, if you give the Chiefs an opportunity to hang around, they'll be like, okay, I mean, listen, if you don't want to close it out, then fine, we'll take the win, right? Like, they'll happily do it. But this was a big time win and a crucial win, an important win for the Kansas City Chiefs. But I still do think, you know, when watching that game, the Colts lost that game. So I had the Chiefs a notch lower, but, you know, it was a great win by them. And then at the tippy top, we got the Super Bowl champions. The Dallas Cowboys, the Seattle Seahawks, the Houston Texans, Los Angeles Rams, they all have a connection to the Super Bowl. They all got a connection to the Super Bowl. Allow me to explain. The Dallas Cowboys, every time they win, this is true. I didn't realize this. I go through my notes. Every time they win the Super Bowl. It's crazy. I didn't know it was possible, but they actually, every time they win the Super Bowl. It's impressive by the Dallas Cowboys, whether they're beating the Raiders, whether they're beating the Eagles, the Giants, it doesn't matter, as every win, they win the Super Bowl. In all seriousness, this was a great win by Dallas Cowboys over the Philadelphia Eagles, showing their level of resiliency, their improvements on their defense. But to me, what it also shows is just still a misstep of what they had defensively and how they could have built this team in a way that could have been legitimate, bona fide Super Bowl contenders right now, especially if it was all a part of Jerry Jones's master plan to move on for Michael. But then you could have done it before the draft, and then you could have then drafted players immediately this season and had immediate impact and got this ball rolling, or flipped other picks. Like, you could have done something to make this defense significantly better, and then you would have been a better team earlier on in the season, and then you could be true contenders right now. Just the reality. The Houston Texans. This defense is so awesome, so dominant, so unbelievable. If you could just get the offense even remotely consistently on track, oh my goodness, you are a bona fide Super Bowl contender. Yes, you are. You are a bona fide Super Bowl contender. You just can't figure out the offense right now. And yeah, you beat the Buffalo Bills, and it was a great win by them. It was a great defensive win more than anything, but the Buffalo Bills defense is not that good by any stretch of the imagination. But that Tyson's defense is just that is legendary. That is something special. Then the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously an easy win. You guys know how I feel about kind of easy, straightforward wins. And so, I could have easily dropped the Seahawks and the Rams, but, they both played really perfect games, pretty clean games, and just considering where everything's at right now. But, you know, uh, the Seahawks, it's just like, you're a legitimate, true, bona fide Super Bowl contender. There's no kind of like, well, maybe. Well, yeah, no, they're pretty good. No, you are a legitimate, bona fide Super Bowl contender. That offense can hang points no matter the defense. That defense can disrupt no matter how great that offense is. You are brilliant and great on both sides of the ball. Can you get it done? Can Sam Darnold get it done? We will find out. Then the Los Angeles Rams, that game wasn't even competitive. That game, I think I was listening to like John Middle. He's like, that game was over by like the third quarter or something. I forget how he exactly phrased it. It was like that game was over within the first 5 minutes of the game. Matthew Stafford, like this Todd Bowles defense, which is supposed to be this, a great defense, great at dialing up pressure and blitzes. Matthew Stafford was pressured 6 times. Bottom of the NFL, 6 times. 6 times. Throwing to wide open receivers all day. 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a passer rating of 122.7. Obviously, I know Baker got knocked out of that game, but even with Baker in there, it just felt like there was no chance. And, especially once you kind of had that little fluke of an interception, but credit to the Rams for making it happen, for ripping them out. That was a great heads-up play by the Rams, a fluke interception from like the side of like Baker and the Bucks, but still opportunistic from the Los Angeles Rams to get after it. But yeah, I mean, this is why I like doing the tiers this way, because then it allows you to put like the Cowboys at the top, the Texans at the top, drop the Chiefs, the Eagles, whatever. It's just I don't know. It's just every time I make these tiers, I look at it and I'm just like, man, like how optimistic do I want to be, and how pessimistic do I want to be? And it is tough because you can make an argument like this was a huge win by the Bears. This was a huge win for the Chiefs, right? And you put them at the top, and then you could be like, well, it's just you can always just twist things. You can always twist things. And so sometimes when I'm trying to evaluate it, it's just like, well, what can I focus on? And for the Jags, for instance, it was just like you can't stop dropping the ball. You have a bunch of interceptions. You need overtime. Like, what is going on? And it's like the Lions, like that was an exciting win and it was awesome to see and it was a fun watch. But then you're also just like, man, you got nearly 300 total yards of offense from one player, from Gibbs, and yet like you still needed overtime. Like you needed him to rip off like a 69-yard touchdown run in overtime. And so it's just, it's just not supposed to be taken all too seriously. But based on the comments that I read, I see people still they still struggle. They still struggle. The Rams fans still having a meltdown about Matthew Stafford not being at the top of the mountain. And it's just like doing these tiers this way is just a great reminder that people struggle to view things through different lenses, and they can't understand different levels of nuance. And so it does make me laugh, honestly, when I read some of these comments and see what some of these people have to say, because they can't always just quite grasp it. Yeah, it's pretty funny, like, because I had Jameis Winston at the top of the mountain over like Stafford or whatever, and like they couldn't accept that, and it's just like, guys, do you understand what Jameis Winston got thrown into? And again, pulling out these trick plays, going toe to toe with the Detroit Lions, like backup quarterback pressured 17 times. He's literally catching a touchdown on a trick play. Has to catch it, has to then run into the end zone. Like, yeah, man. Like, that's great. You're at the top of the mountain, and it's just like Stafford has an incredibly easy day. And they just like want him at the top, or, Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott were at the second level. And it's like, this was a division rival. Dak and Jalen going at it, both quarterbacks showing up and playing great. And they're just like they can't wrap their head around it. And it's just funny that there's just different ways of looking at things. Yeah, so that's the way how these tiers are operating right now. It's obviously not the standings. It's obviously not how I would rank these teams if you were just like, who are the best teams or whatever. Like, that's not how I'm doing it either, right? It's just what happened this past week. How impressive was the win? How bad was the loss? How was the quality of play? Yeah, that is that. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Did I talk about the Philadelphia Eagles? I think I did, right? I just went through the Chiefs. I was like, as soon as I looked at it, I was like, wait a second. Did I talk about the Eagles? I think I did, right? I think how bad the offense was in the second half. Now they couldn't do anything? Okay, if I didn't, I've already talked about the Eagles, so you already know my thoughts on them, but the Eagles are there. I think I went on a whole rant about the consistency of the offense. I'm doubting myself right now. I'll have to go back and check the tape. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.